My name is Wendy Payne. I'm a resident of the city of Warren. My address is 201 East 2nd Street, Warren, PA. Also a business owner. I have a wine bar located right downtown at 331 West Pennsylvania Avenue. And I just seek some clarification on today's agenda. So my first question would be, I looked on the city site and was unable to locate the meeting notification of today's meeting. And so I'd like to validate where and when it was posted.
It was posted on Monday and it's under the calendar.
Where was it posted on Monday?
City website.
Where
It was
on
also,
where on the city website?
What's that?
Where on the city website?
Under the calendar.
Under the calendar.
Yes.
So, is it still there?
I'm not have access to it at the moment, but I imagine it's still there and will come down after the meeting.
Yes, it is still there.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I looked all through the city website and I was unable to locate it. So, and I looked pretty hard. And then I just want clarification for today's meeting, if I may. So generally in a city council meeting, we have a public comment, and during the public comment, it's something that's not on the agenda. And then there's an agenda item, and the city, or the city residents, or whoever, they don't even have to be a resident, are allowed to speak to the agenda item. So I just want to clarify if that's how today's going to go.
Both places will be open for public comment, but again, the same rules will apply.
And are the rules
3 minutes?
And where was that 3 minutes? Was that voted on by the RDA?
Yes.
When?
I think we talked about that. We've done it before.
I think we don't have that.
We've
But actually, under Robert's Rules of Order, you as the chairman are allowed to set the time limit.
So there's your answer.
All right. I think that's my only non-comment. I just want to make sure that I understand what the rules are today. Thank you.
And in addition to the website, there was an ad placed in the paper.
And where and when? 48
Monday. And the times it's over. If you'd like, I have a copy of it right here.
Sure. Do we post in any of the other, like the Erie News Now or Brian's?
I do not know where the postings are posted.
Thank you.
Yes, so on Wednesday, April 15th, bids were received for the 231 to 237 Pennsylvania Avenue building demolition project. Those bids were presented to the authority at their April RDA meeting. The written base bid amount to demolish the building submitted by Fox & Sons Excavating is $130,350.00. The alternate bid amount to fill in the excavation is an additional $124,450.00. That makes their total combined bid $254,800.40. The base bid amount submitted by Siegel Excavating was $145,500.00. The alternate bid amount was an additional $84,680.00, and that makes the total combined bid $230,180.00. The authority has the option of awarding only the base bid, in which case Fox & Sons is the apparent low bidder at $130,350.00, or awarding the combined base bid and bid alternate, in which case Siegel Excavating is the apparent low bidder at $230,180.00.
Thank you. Now, at our last meeting when we discussed the bids, the city.
Chad, what is the recommendation from the city engineer? In consultation with Mike, the recommendation is to award the base bid to Fox and Sons for $130,000, $130,350.00.
And the city would take it.
City would take care of that.
So that is what we're talking about today. According to Robert's Rules of Order, before I can open for comment, we must have a motion and a second. Do we have a motion to award the base bid to,
I will move that we award the base bid of $130,350 to Fox and Sons.
do we have a second?
Second.
All right. At this point, I will open the floor for comments, for observations, et cetera.
Ron Peterson, 225 Liberty Street. For those who don't know me, I moved here 5 years ago with my family from Los Angeles. I'm part of the group that would like to develop this property on the corner of Liberty and Pennsylvania Avenue. We would have liked to propose a counter offer to what the RDA proposed to us, but in the emails that I have with me, the RDA chair, Mr. Sawtelle, made it very clear that meeting or discussing this matter further was not going to be an option. So with that, I will say this. There was a Sunshine Act violation made at the RDA regular meeting of May 27, 2026. Sunshine Act 65 PA CS subsection 701716 requires state and local government agencies, including school boards, and authorities and commissions to deliberate business in open public advertised. The RDA failed to do that, as whatever vote they may have taken was held in executive session. Furthermore, there was a second violation of the Sunshine Act on that day, May 27, 26, as the RDA chair failed to announce publicly, either before or after the executive session, the specific reason for the executive session. And we can check the minutes and we'll discover this, but Jessica, I would like to put the city on notice that to preserve all physical and electronic recordings that you used to compile the minutes of the RDA meeting of May 27, 2026. And our position is that any decisions made before, during, or after that meeting are null and void. The counter proposal we would have made had we had the opportunity would have been no less favorable than what Hudson Corporation had, which was their deal was 7 years to commence development, which means putting a shovel in the ground. We would agree to a 5-year turnkey finished product if that was agreeable, and also we would just like to delete the second stipulation, which was our group putting up a bond of $200,000 to demolish the property, which is rather absurd considering we are a preservationist nonprofit group of volunteers who certainly shouldn't have to pay for the demolition of the property that has really occurred under the RDA and the city's jurisdiction.
In response, you still have 30 seconds. I don't know, regarding the first items on your list.
Check the minutes.
Mr. Peterson.
Check the minutes,
I have to
please.
check the minutes, but I do not recall the RDA voting on anything in executive session. We discussed items, but nothing was voted on, nothing was
It has
discussed.
to be put to a vote, sir.
That's what we have to put it to a vote here.
You put to a vote our proposal.
We did not.
You did not put to vote our proposal, but you have to put our proposal to a vote. You did not. You need to do things in open.
Wait, did we not do that in open?
Furthermore, if the RDA is so independent, why was the city inside with you on with the executive session? Seems
I can
rather
answer that.
inappropriate.
I can answer that. City officials facilitate the RDA no different than when city council has an executive session. Members of city staff are allowed by law to attend those meetings, to offer additional information that may not be available to the RDA at that time, and to offer further explanation.
Okay, regardless, it was a Sunshine Act violation, not one but two. And you'll have to review the minutes to verify what I'm saying.
We will do
Our
so.
position is, whatever decisions have been made are null and void, and we are open and ready to discuss with you in good faith development of that property.
There were no votes taken in executive session. That did not happen. It was there.
Whatever deliberations need to be in public.
The deliberations, the vote has to be public.
There was no
We
vote.
can discuss items. There was a vote. We had a motion to make the presentation that I made to you in our meeting. It was moved, seconded, presented.
Okay, that needs to happen in public.
It did.
It did not.
While you were standing right there.
No, check the minutes.
Love to check the minutes, but we'll move on. My other, trying to remember what the other thing you said was. Your
Counter proposal, the counter proposal that you refuse to entertain.
I am going to answer a couple of things here. Number one, the Hudson, each developer is different. We have to consider every different, their project was a multi-level, multi-unit apartment complex. This is a four-wall building with a roof and a yard. Okay, doesn't take as much time to get from A to B, in my opinion.
It does when you're seeking grants and you might have funding gaps. Basically, your stipulations made it impossible for us to agree, and it was by design. It's very unfortunate.
Let's be clear, the Hudson project as well had a demolition clause in it.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they
I have it right here.
They were responsible for demolition if they.
Yeah, but if they didn't, and they didn't break ground, and after 7 years, the property would revert to the RDA. It's right on the paper, black and white.
Okay. Next comment, please. Anyone?
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Rabel. I am the chair of the Planning Commission. I also reside at 407 Poplar Street. I didn't grow up in Warren, and I'm not from here. I grew up in Kennedy, New York, not far away, and as a child we would always come to Warren and just walk around and look at the old houses and look at the architecture and just enjoy the historic buildings that were here. And I grew up with a really strong appreciation for the historic buildings in Warren. And I am now the proud owner of a historic house in Warren. So I'm here today just to say that it's sad when we lose these historic properties. It hurts me. And I think that together these properties kind of weave together the fabric of our historical identity and what makes Warren special. I think that we can all agree that if a historic property has a chance at another life, no matter how far gone it is, if there is a chance, it would be a huge disservice to the public to not give that. And sometimes buildings do need to come down, and that will always hurt me, but it feels bad to feel like all the opportunities and all of the avenues for rehabilitation are not being explored. I also want to say that maybe I've been here since 2018 this time. I've lived in Warren before, but I have been here since 2018. I see developers come and go. They come from other areas and they sell us these boutique hotels or these restorations, and it sounds incredible and wonderful, like you're gonna save this property. And I have seen the city give a lot to people that aren't from our community. And I have seen that not work out. And that is devastating. I think it's fair to give the same opportunities to people in our community that are local, that are here, that are raising their kids here, that are sending their kids to our schools, that are going to eat out at our restaurants, that have an understanding of what Warren is important for. And I think that should be considered. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm Beth Porter, and I don't live in town, but this is my town. This is where I grew up. I grew up in North Warren, so but all of our business was downtown. And, I can't understand why you would not give these people that are local an opportunity to use that space. We've seen when somebody's gonna build an apartment building, blah, 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 this has like happened many times, and it all blows out of the water, and nothing happens. And I don't know, I don't know how people find out about these, meetings. I only found out because of Facebook, and I have concerned friends. But I think it needs to be advertised more. And really, that is just my sincere hope that you will give these people that wanna do something good for our town a chance to do it. I don't understand why you wouldn't. Thank you.
Again, Wendy McCain. I want to thank everybody for coming because it just shows the support that we have for restoring our historic nature of our town. One of the things we talk about is we were in the 1880s the wealthiest city per capita in the United States of America. Or we had the most millionaires per capita in the United States of America. And what that brought is this gorgeous architecture. And myself, I did not grow up here either, but I moved here. One of the reasons, and bought a historic house, and I fell in love with the architecture. That's important to me. That's why I joined the Historic Society. And then I personally restored a historic building downtown. And so I do understand that it can be done. I know that there's 2 architects that have said that this building that we're talking, that's in question, can be restored. I think the facade is what's probably the most important because of the visual appeal. And then, so I know that there's been some city rhetoric saying that the building can't be restored, but I can speak from personal experience. It can be restored, and I think that's important. We have a resurgence right now, if you will, in the city of downtown Warren. So it's not just myself with the wine bar. It actually started with the brewery, Bent Run. And you have a brewery, and then more businesses came. That's what made me decide to restore a building and open a business. It's not a moneymaker to open a business. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And we have other businesses. So then we have Wicked Warren, we have an ice cream shop, we have Salsa Soleil, we have, of course, Arbor House has been there. And I don't want to miss anybody. Oh, the Bow and Bend. So we really are working together to create a downtown. And we need, I think, that extra push. And I've seen those pictures of the market space, and as soon as I saw that, I could see how that could help us and what that would mean to our city to have this market space. And a lot of other cities are doing market spaces. So we have cities that understand that you're pulling those resources, you're sharing those expenses, and that makes entrepreneurship more accessible to the average person. So I feel, I don't know how we got to this point where, what I understand, we have a group that formed a nonprofit. They met the criteria of the RFP that was proposed by the city's RDA. And then they had the possibility of a $100,000 grant to restore the roof from the Penn State Extension. I see Harry Chris who's on the team, I believe. He's on this web video. He wants to save the building. And so we have this group that wants to do something. They've met their criteria. They care enough to be here and to make demands, and then have a 5-day window to make a decision without offering more time or a meeting to discuss the details of a contract. Feels like that's not, I would expect the RDA to work with the group and come up with a contract that feels fair for everybody. So I want to encourage Renee, Gary, and Rocco to grant more time and offer a meeting with the group to come up with a fair contract, something that everybody can agree to and everybody would be willing to work towards, because we have people that care, and they continue to come to these meetings and have been for some time now. So I have a lot of things, thanks for giving me an extra minute. I have more stuff that more questions, but I'll leave it at that. Please just I'll say one more quick thing. So my husband, who's not with us any longer because he's deceased, he always said, don't make a decision until you're ready. And I didn't get that at first, and some people don't get that, but what it means is you'll know when it's in your heart when it's the right decision. It won't feel bad, it will feel right. So I just want you to take the time to make the right decision, because once you tear that building down, you cannot bring it back. Thank you.
My name's Chris Arthur. My wife and I, Beth, own Christie's Downtown Pub and Grill. And I don't care what happens to the building, either it gets demoed or revitalized, whatever. Something needs to happen because it's directly affecting our building. There's been water coming in the basement as a direct result of that building. The city did fix that problem, but it's an ongoing thing. You can smell mold out back. It's terrible. I mean, you walk back and all you smell is mold coming out of it. I heard there's a tree growing inside the building. So whatever happens, it gets demoed, it gets revitalized. It needs to happen like sooner rather than later. The more time that goes by, the more it affects our building too, because it's starting to affect our building. So, we're a downtown business, and I don't know, just come over and hang out back in the alley sometime, and you'll smell it. It's just disgusting, is what it is. So, either way, I just wish something would happen, immediately, because the longer it goes by, every day that goes by, the more it's going to start to affect our building. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, any others?
I have one question, if I may. So, is there a bid on doing something? If you demolish the building, what happens? Is there a bid to do something?
Once the building is demolished and property is filled in, a new RFP will generate for development of the property. We have no project, we have no bidder, we have no other person, other organization, or other developer interested in the property.
Who's paying for the demolition?
The city, well, the RDA.
Taxpayers.
I'm sorry, Gary, can we just clarify, the expected cost to the city for demolition is, what's the final price tag?
$130,350.
Okay, and so that will be absorbed by the RDA or the city? Who's paying for this?
The majority of it will be absorbed by the RDA.
Okay,
I don't remember what the actual number was the city was.
The city in the budget of last year, knowing that at some point in time, something would have to be addressed, 40,000 was set aside.
And what would be the cost to allow our group to develop that property? What would be the cost to the taxpayers?
Nothing.
40K.
I'm sorry, I have a question. I'm wondering if you guys can tell us a little bit more about, from a cost analysis standpoint, why you're jumping right to demolition.
Okay, we are not jumping right to demolition. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna
Okay.
read a timeline of events
Okay.
that dates back to October of 2024, when the Hudson Group pulled out of their project. Hudson Group pulled out in October of 2024. And this timeline was built from minutes of RDA meetings, city council meetings, etc. January 2025, ownership of the property reverted to the RDA. February of 2025, the RDA published an RFP to develop the property. It was published for responses. From February to June of 2025, there were 0 responses received. Apparently no one was interested in the property. July 2025, the RDA registers the RFP with Penn Bid Organization with a closing of the RFP of December 31st, 2025, looking for wider exposure to more developers. Again, July to September 2025, no responses to the RFP, 0. September of 2025, the RDA decides to issue a demolition RFP for safety reasons. October 2025, Mr. Peterson and his supporters voiced their opinions, and the RDA strongly recommended that they prepare a proposal for the RFP. In October of 2025, the RDA rejected the demo bids because there were issues with the bidders and incorrect math and a number of other things, and decided to reissue the RFP in early 2026. In January 2026, the WHCA was granted an additional month to get all of their pieces that were necessary for the RFP. Now again, the RFP closed on December 31st. So we are now to February, where the WHCA was granted another month to provide a complete proposal meeting all the criteria of the RFP, which was published 12 months prior. March 2026, the WHCA still has not secured a 501c3 designation and asked for a private meeting. Again, the issue was tabled until the April RDA meeting. April 2026, the demo bids were presented to the RDA, and the WHCA completed their walkthrough of the property with their engineer, and they were awaiting the engineer's study. The issue was tabled again for another month. May 2026, we made the offer to WHCA for the property and received no response. We received questions, we received requests, but no response to our proposal.
That's not true. It's not true. I have the emails right here.
You emailed us, you did not make a counter, you didn't make a counter offer.
You made it
didn't
clear there
accept
was
our
no room for negotiation. You said the decision had been made on this
offer.
property.
And we were looking for an answer on that
And
decision.
meeting was not gonna be productive. It's right here.
I understand that, and we were looking for an answer to our.
That's not a
never
good
got.
faith negotiation. I've been negotiating
We've
contracts
given
for
12
40
months
years.
of
That's not a
negotiation.
good faith
We have
negotiation.
given 12 months of this. There was no interest in this property whatsoever until
We responded on
decided it
December
was time to
30,
come down.
2025 with a proposal.
you hadn't.
So now what's the rush for the demo? You say there's no rush, but
We
we
have
have a
granted,
proposal that we're putting forward now. Why are you pushing this demo?
well, we have a business owner who is adjacent to the property who is feeling hurts to his business.
He said it could go either way. It can be developed.
It
too.
Yeah,
has to be
yeah.
done
But it has to be
immediately, because
done
our
quickly.
building is directly.
And we were ready to fix that roof ASAP.
That's not gonna get rid of the mold problem.
It's gonna stop the water from going through it, and then you gut it, you dry it in.
It's a black mold, that isn't the way that works.
The first thing I did when I bought, so Twig and Vine, which was vacant for 11 years, maybe 12. There were 4 active leaks in the roof. Pretty much every ceiling joist had to be rebuilt. The first thing we did was repair the roof. That would be the first phase. And I would, make sure that the new RDA members understand a little bit about Robert's. You don't have to vote, you can stay silent. And you could also, make a counter motion. Those are legitimate, responses to this situation, if that was what you so chose. Based on the, controversy of,
I'll add
Of the
some clarity
timeframe.
to that, if I may.
pardon me?
I would like to add some clarity to that, if I may, under Robert's Rules of Order, all right? Currently, you have a motion on the floor, and you have a second. You have opened it up for public comment. At any point in time, the chairperson has the right to close public comment, then ask for comments from the RDA. But the motion that is on the floor and already been seconded has to be voted on.
They do not have to vote. You can say silent.
A
Yeah,
vote-
that's
a
their
vote will be-
option.
A vote will be called, they will have to indicate, okay?
My statement is, I agree, a vote has to be called, but you may counter the motion, or you may stay silent. So you are allowed to not cast a vote. If you're not ready to say yes or no, that provides a little extra time to have a negotiation phase with a nonprofit that has met the criteria of the RFP. And you say that Gary said that the RDA's worked with them. It just doesn't make sense. You're at the finish line, and then you don't cross the finish line. Like, they came to the finish line, and then there was a demand on a decision to be made within 5 days. The group did not feel like it was, the criteria was fair. Whether it was or not, I don't know, but it seems like there's not a good faith component in there. If you came this close, why not negotiate together and work together as a city with the city businesses and residents and the nonprofit? I mean, Harry Christie is with the Penn State Extension. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. I think for him to be involved, for him to care about our city. And everybody sitting here in the galley, we're not here to be a problematic. We care. I don't know. I think that's important.
Thank you. Now, you're waiting.
Yeah, I have a question. Well, actually, it's a comment. Anybody who's recording or taking pictures, please do not put me in your recordings or pictures. Thank you.
Public, it's a public.
I would request that the Zoom meeting be saved for a period of time in case there's any questions about what was discussed.
And actually, we should open public comment to any of the Zoom members, Zoom attendees. If anyone has a comment, please indicate by raising your hand.
I don't know if they're all on.
Make sure they heard you.
Yeah, I think they're all, I don't know if they're even on the.
Oh, they can't see us?
We can't see us, but
They have themselves turned off. See the,
just wanted to give them an opportunity. They can click the little raise hand button.
Can they hear us though? Are they hearing the opportunity?
they should be able to. I think they just have us turned off on their own side.
Can we confirm that?
If
Like,
someone
I had a hard
wants
time
to
hearing
turn
that.
their thing off and talk.
Type in the chat window, ask them if there's any public comment from the Zoom attendees. Just wanna make sure everybody has an opportunity. Takers in the Zoom meeting, I'm gonna close public comment and open for the RDA to comment.
A couple questions for you, Mr. Suttel. Is it common to place, timelines on projects for anyone who acquires a property from the RDA?
Yes.
And is it common to require restrictions on what can and cannot be done after transfer of that property? So, we have a property that we have an RFP for. Is it common to restrict in some sort of way, based on code requirements, what can and cannot be done at that property, even after property transfer?
I can answer this, good will, okay. Generally, when the RDA sells a property to a individual or developer or whatever, yes, it is common to have timelines. Timelines to have things such as, if not completed, the property reverts back to the redevelopment authority. As far as development of it, it would have to meet any of the requirements for a building permit, zoning, exactly, all of those things, which really aren't under the authority of the redevelopment authority, but that would be for any developer. You would have to be able to meet all of those qualities.
Okay, and with the email exchanges with Mr. Peterson, was there anyone who ever said you may not offer a counter proposal?
That's not true.
Those words were not spoken.
I can read the email right here, and I'm sure you were all.
You were asking for a meeting,
Yes.
and I
correct.
said a meeting was not going to change anything.
And
Tell us
that,
what you're looking for.
and that the RDA had made its decision in this, with regards to this property. So that left no wiggle room to me. I would like to meet with you and discuss the details so that we can hammer it out and put a shovel in the ground. But you made it very clear that was not going to happen.
This is my opinion, but I think at any point,
anyone can make an offer or offer a negotiation. I don't think being told that you can't negotiate, that to me is that's not the definition of
The
negotiation.
stipulations presented at the meeting are standard and would be included in any sales agreement with any developer. I'm not sure what a meeting will change. The RDA has made their decision regarding this property. So what room do I have to negotiate from that?
At that point, I think in your shoes, I probably would have offered a specific change, whether it's 5 years, whether it's no bond. I was on those emails, I didn't see that type of offer with any specific plans or offers to counter. So that was my experience.
But he did come with a counter offer today.
Today at the meeting, which is, if I'm counting the timeline, another, what amounts to be a delay for this project.
Well, the last meeting was null and void based on the sunshine law, so.
So,
Really starting
to me,
over.
we're only seeing action when this committee gets ready to demolish. That's what it feels like to me.
That's not true.
Excuse me, I'm part of this group with Ron. May I please?
Sure.
Emotions, right? So, forgive me. My name is Sandra Bloom. And I live at 2249. Sheffield. Public speaking is not my favorite thing. So bear with me a second. I will write this shit. I hear a lot of hostility happening here today. And I want us all to take a breath. We're talking about community. We're talking about building up something that's gonna make an impact. We're not talking about 4 walls and a dirt pavement or whatever was said. We have a whole campaign going on about becoming Warren County, right? We have a historical property that has an extensive amount of damage. I agree. I really agree. But we have a group that said, we see some potential in here. I am not a business developer. I'm not. But if we want people to come to our town and to embrace becoming Warren, we need to do better. So, if you're telling me the only way forward is to tear this building down and leave, what is it, 2, 3 business location wide space. But we can't sit down and talk to each other about going forward from here. Then how are we becoming Warren? Who wants to come and be a part of this? Now here's what I see for that building. And you've seen the proposal. A lot of those were my ideas. A lot of them. Because nobody knew what to do. I don't know how to write a proposal, but I'm learning. We have to do better. And I don't care if, it takes long nights into the evening. Let's have a conversation. Let's treat each other as humans and the betterment of our community. We're talking about a property or a project that's happening at the riverfront, yes? And people are excited about that, yes? And then we've got Bent Run, who they're knocking it out of the park, right? Then you have this monstrosity parking garage that is a thing of its own, but whatever, right? Parking's a problem in Warren. Parking garage is there. Then you have this piece of prime property that can take and just weave the waterfront and Bent Run and everything right up through our downtown. You have people here from all walks of life. We can do better. And no, I don't want to see it torn down. Like, give us a chance. You're talking about a $200,000 bond and 5 days to figure out. We're a group of people. I run a nonprofit that I don't get a paycheck. I run a soup kitchen that feeds veterans. Where am I gonna get $200,000 to fork out for a bond in 5 days? And I read those emails, and there was no wiggle room. I will tell you that Ron is correct, because it was, you've got 5 days, decide, and then we're tearing it down. Okay, I understand that you've been doing this for a year. I do. And I also understand that Hudson left it for 7 years. We have talked to people that have said, you have a great project. Erie News News this morning had a whole piece about Erie Bayfront Marketplace. That it's like $25 million that it's gonna cost to do that. We're talking about a couple million. You're willing to give out money to New York Deli to help them get on their feet, because that as you should, and I congratulate you for that. But where's the and maybe Ron's brash, and maybe he's aggressive, and I'll tame him down, but honestly and truly, we can make this crazy amazing. It can be a creative arts place. It can be a teaching kitchen. We've talked about putting pollinator gardens
May I interrupt for one moment, Mr. Sutcliffe?
Yes, sir.
You have already closed public comment, and you're already past your stipulated time. I'm
Well,
only
Come
coming,
on.
I'm only.
Wait a minute, Randy, does the city run this meeting, or does the RDA run this meeting?
No, one moment.
This-
May I stop?
Randy.
One moment.
Wait, please.
Please, thank you. In acting as the facilitator for the RDA and acting as the parliamentarian for the RDA, I am just allowing the chairman to know that he has already stipulated what the guidelines were for this meeting. And the fact that he has already closed the public comment period, once again, I am just reiterating what the guidelines were that everybody agreed to at the start of the meeting.
I do agree, and I will go sit down. I pretty much said my piece. And thank you.
I realize what I said may have discounted the work that this group has done. That's not my intention at all. But I think my position remains that, you know, we have dates going back to 2025 where we're just not seeing the progress that we would expect from a property that hasn't.
I have a question for WHDA, and this is not pre-opening public comment, this is just a question. Everything you described is wonderful. Will that continue with a vacant lot? You still have a vision. You still have an idea.
we wanna salvage the existing property. We see value in historical properties. Other people may not, but we see a real value in historical properties. And we also see it as we're really just trustees of these properties. What about future generations who may wanna appreciate a Beaux Arts property that was built in 1915? 200 years from now, people that aren't even born yet, maybe they would like to appreciate that property. Who are we to decide that that property gets the death penalty?
We are stewards of the whole city. I've got a business owner who is suffering because of a property that has been vacant for how many years?
I'm guessing in excess of at least 15 to 20.
15 to 20
How long
years.
has the city owned the property?
City doesn't own the property.
You
The
did
RDA
own
owns
the
the
property.
The RDO owned the property, and prior to that, Hudson owned the property.
How long has either the RDA or the city owned the property?
I believe the county site said 2009.
I just want to say, when I moved to Warren, the day I turned 18, so 20 years ago, that was not a vacant property. I mean, it was inhabited.
And it's been deteriorating since it became.
Well, no, but when you're just throwing out the number like 20 years ago, like that's not, you're just guessing, you're not sure.
Property was
So,
transferred to
I
the
have a
city in
question.
2009.
Thank you. Thank you.
What would it hurt to sit down with the group and have a dialogue? I guess that's what I don't
We've already done
understand.
that.
You haven't.
Yeah, we
You
have
made
done that.
demands
No,
and you gave 5 days. Ron
Prior
asked
to that,
for
we
a
met-
meeting and you
prior
said
to-
no.
prior to that, we met with them, we talked with them, we asked them to secure a 501c3 certification. That has not happened yet.
Oh, it's all done, Gary,
It's
know
done.
this. We provided everything. Everything you asked for, we provided.
Is it done? 'Cause
Yes, thank
It
you.
doesn't show.
It's delayed. It was delayed.
We got to the goal line and then the end zone became a trap door, is what happened.
What's the approximate cost of a developer's bond for $200,000? Does anyone have that information?
I believe it's usually a percentage. Most contractors have like a 2%, in their bids, roughly.
2%, you said?
Right.
Of the total
2%
project
bond
of the developer's bond amount. So that would be what, $4,000 estimating for this
And
project?
I can't speak for the bonding companies. There's a sliding scale with the size of the bond and everything.
But keep in mind, if we have a poison pill demolition poison pill baked into the purchase agreement, I don't know any private investor or even grants that we're gonna be awarded. Who would do that if they know it's just gonna be, we could put $500,000 into it and then it gets torn down by the letter of the.
You probably
It's
get more
not
stipulations.
a poison pill. The purpose for that request is to assure the RDA and the city that if the group folds, we're not left with more of a mess.
Okay,
We're not
well,
left
what we
That's the
would, what we
purpose.
would, I understood, what we proposed though is that it just would revert back to the RDA. That was part of our discussions that we had when Mike Boyd was here. We discussed that, he said it may have to revert, we said, fine. But then the stipulations were presented to us completely different than what we discussed in our meetings.
And at that point, demolition becomes more costly, and the effects that the property, if the group folds and no action is taken, the risks to adjacent properties, the negative effects to adjacent properties continue to build.
Understood. But can you appreciate that it's very difficult for us as a preservationist nonprofit to assume demolition of a historical property, which is really, you're shifting the burden, the financial burden, to a nonprofit. The RDA is shifting that financial burden to the nonprofit. That just doesn't seem
We
right.
are willing to demolish it today at today's prices. If you want to move, the request was, if you're going to move forward, put up a bond to assure that it comes to fruition, and if it doesn't,
I can assure you it'll come to fruition, and if it doesn't, we will gladly hand the keys back to the RDA, just like Hudson.
that creates more of a negative effect. It's
Look,
gonna grow.
when we get our teeth into something, we're not gonna stop. We wanna see this through. We're dead serious. No one here has a financial interest in this project.
And I have another question for the city, please.
Sure.
Did the city offer to maintain any of the architectural, portions of the building should it be demolished?
Actually, it's in the RFP that the redevelopment authority put out, that any of the architectural signatures of that building, such as the eagles, have to be preserved. And
That's
even
not
if the
the same-
building,
that's
even
not
if
the
the
same
building is demoed, okay, those assets
It's not getting anywhere here.
referred to will still be preserved. They will be held in reserve by the city.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The one in the back behind you
Hi.
has been waiting for a
Hi.
while. And,
Do you want me to come to the podium? This is a question for the RDA. Would you
you
like
can ask
to-
it from right there, we're not gonna
Okay.
reopen public comment.
Barbara
Right now, we're having
Scott,
a dialogue, and-
taxpayer, retired teacher. I have no experience in development of properties except for being a homeowner, having lived in Canada, the Caribbean, born and raised in Warren, chose to come back to Warren, PA, renovated a house at 408 East Street in the historical district where I grew up, renovated and restored. I should say I restored it. What I'm having a really hard time with here, we used to see Warren, the city of Warren. It was a beautiful, historic district. I don't understand what happened to the historical district designation. But when Rocco asked the question about, is it common to place deadlines, restrictions, and transfer of property? He asked a good question there. Mr. Rossi made some comment about timelines. And I want to turn to the property in the middle of the block, and I can't tell you the address, on Liberty Street that years ago was a Tom Christensen bought, and it's at 3
5
storefronts.
5.
Right.
Oh, 5?
It's fine.
They have not been developed in any way, shape, or form. And when I walk around downtown Warren, I evade Liberty Street because it's a travesty. Why do we not have restrictions to where you buy a property, within 3 months, you show that it's shovel ready or you've done something? There should be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Nothing, to my knowledge, has been done there. Maybe enough just to shore up the building, the one building that was an old bar, whatever, so that the facade wasn't falling on the sidewalk. But why are you so willing and so fast to take down that historical property that we're discussing down on the corner of Liberty and Pennsylvania Avenue, but you folks have dragged your feet and not put into place milestones of development, which, like I said, I'm not a developer. I have no idea. I have no planning background. It just seems really ironic to me. And can you give these people a chance, please, who are trying, and then please come up with some guidelines, please. If somebody buys properties, and 5 of them, they should have their feet held to the fire. Show me in 3 months what you've done. Show me in 6 months. By 9 months, it should revert back to the city. Thank you very much.
Respectfully, thank you for that comment. I think that's what we're doing here, is we're placing stipulations on the development of this property, which is 3 years of completion, or and some sort of financial assurance that in 3 years, trusting Mr. Peterson and the group, trusting and rooting for him to get this done. If it doesn't, we still need some sort of insurance policy.
But then wouldn't there make sense to have a clause that says if there's a good faith effort moving forward, that the RDA would continue to work with them? I think what Ron's saying is his concern is, what if we get this bond, we spend $1 million, and then based on this contentiousness, you just come in and tear it down because it's not turnkey ready in 3 years. Like, why isn't there a I've never seen a contract that wasn't negotiated, like, there was no draft contract, no negotiation. I don't understand why there can't be some discussion with the group over this. It was just, here's the stipulations, and, I mean, it did sound to me like the door was closed, from Mr. Swatel. I don't know why we're still, like, obviously, it feels like the decision's already been made, so I don't even know why I'm still talking, but, you know, we have a lot of people that have spoken and care, and I don't understand why, you can't go to the table. Again, finish line, and now we're saying, we changed our mind. I don't know, it just doesn't, you wouldn't have this many people here if it felt right.
It felt underhanded, just finding out about it right before this meeting. I know you said you put it in the newspaper, but I don't get the newspaper. But couldn't there be some kind of a, like, the two proposals, your proposal and this proposal, printed out with all of the information, say, in the paper as a public notice, so that we could have some more input rather than just coming here today and not really knowing a lot about what has been happening until a couple of days ago.
I don't have an answer for that. I know we have followed the guidelines and the stipulations that we are supposed to.
But guidelines, but we're talking about a good faith effort, you know.
I am concerned.
Okay.
I am concerned because, as Rocco pointed out, there seemed to be no interest in this property at all until the word demolition was mentioned.
But there is now, as you can see.
May I present a counteroffer? Yes, it did.
Are you a board member of WCA?
I am.
Okay.
So,
May I stop for one moment? The only item on the agenda,
Correct.
so it is not an item that the RDA is allowed to act on. And I'm only calling this out once again as your parliamentarian. It's not on the agenda, and there was no motion made to amend the agenda, so.
But you can make a motion to postpone the decision until next week's RDA meeting so that you can include it in the agenda. It's 1 week.
2 weeks.
We have a counter offer from a board member.
Well, we have to act on the motion.
Well, you can make a counter motion. That's acting on the
Please.
motion.
Thank you. We have to act on this motion. Does that preclude us from listening to what she has to say, as what she has to say may affect the outcome of the motion?
You have to take action on the motion that you have, okay? You would have to have somebody amend that motion to allow for the counter. So then you would have to vote on the amendment and then vote on the actual motion.
What is the RDA's pleasure regarding this?
What is the expiration of the bid?
I believe it's June 14th.
So they were going out for bid while we were doing our RFP.
We didn't have time to advertise another meeting. So the only option we have, if we want to hear what she has to say, would be to amend this motion to allow for that to be heard by the RDA. And we would have to vote on that amendment, after which we would vote on the demo bid. Does that make sense? It does. For that to happen, I would need someone to make that motion to amend.
Before I make that motion, would we be prepared to make a decision This is more stalling, but I would make the motion to amend the agenda, to amend the motion.
Amend the motion to allow hearing of the counter offer.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I will point out also under Robert's Rules of Order, because you only have 3 members, it has to be unanimous.
Correct.
Do you want me to come up
Yeah,
there?
please come up.
Okay. I will less emotional this time.
Official
I promise.
unanimous, do we need to vote on that amendment?
There's only 3 of us, and I wasn't gonna vote no, so.
Okay, all right, I just wanted
okay.
to,
For the record, can you vote yes?
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. So I propose that we extend the timeline from 3 years to 5 to cover some of the funding gap issues. Like, we have contacted, the Appalachian, and I apologize, Erin Wallace is much better with knowing who they are. But
Don't apologize, please.
we sat and we talked with them, she went over the whole proposal, she's like, you are an amazing contender for this grant, you check all the boxes, we would be willing to work with you to phase it out, to do all the things, that's fantastic. However, how their grant process runs, before we would even get the first allotment or whatever, we would be like a year. I mean, there's other things that we can do, and we're prepared to do other fundraisings where other, like, let's get on this. There are a couple people that are willing to invest, you know, so it's not just planning on a grant. Like, I get it, there has to be lots of other avenues and venues, I understand. So if we could just push that timeline out, and if you are, and put in a stipulation that if you're not seeing forward moving progress, then it reverts and you take it and we just sit down. But please allow us the time to move forward. And if this is like nothing that we can do, it has to come down. Nobody wants that to happen. Like, we really wanna figure out, I'll go over there today and start scrubbing or whatever, I mean, that's impossible. But that's my heart, right? Like really, and I understand you have to like separate heart from this is reality and all of that, I really get it. But if you would be willing to work with us, give us benchmarks in that 5 years if you want.
So I have a question.
Yes.
And I'm sorry I'm stuck on this, but
That's okay.
delaying demolition will cost the city more and more money. What is the contingency plan if all of the grants you're counting on don't come through?
Then we raise the money and we do it, we find a way to, okay. It's
And I'm not trying to be contentious.
No, that's okay. I told you, I run a soup kitchen, right? I am a big proponent of collaborating with people. I don't need the limelight. I don't care about the limelight, nothing. But if I can work with you on this piece, and I can work with you on this piece, and I can work with Wendy because she has knowledge on this piece, those transfer into dollars, right? So we get together a community and we do this together. We link arms and we make it happen. Grants may not be there. Okay, that's fine. But we have lots of people in this town that are interested in building up our town.
If I could just ask for clarification,
Yes.
your proposal is to increase the property and increase the project completion date to 5 years.
Yes,
And your proposal is also to remove the stipulation for the developer's bond?
yes, please.
Okay, so that's
basically the same thing that Mr. Peterson said.
I'm also,
It's a counter.
it is a counter, but I'm asking for you to, let's plan this out and work together. And give us 6 months increments if you need to. So, like, if you're seeing us moving forward progress, and then we're gonna get to the goal. I'm not saying it's gonna take 5 years. I'm asking that if it's like 3/4 of the way done by year 3, you guys are like, oh, it's not finished, done. Well, we say no, that's not gonna happen, right? But let's be fair and protect everybody, right? No, I don't wanna see this fall back on you guys. I really don't. I wanna see this come to fruition.
I want to go back to something that you had said earlier and you asked Chad about. So how much cash would a group have to put up to secure a $200,000 bond?
They'd have to talk to the insurance company. It depends on their past history in doing this type of project. It's essentially insurance, right? So the higher the risk, the higher the bond is gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's important to clarify that the RDA is not looking for a $200,000 reserve fund from this group. The RDA is looking for a bond that covers $200,000 worth of demolition expenses.
Okay.
You would not have to shell out $200,000 for this, should it
Do
be
you know
demolished.
how to acquire that bond?
I don't.
Does anybody right here know how to acquire that bond?
It's an insurance, I've never done it, it's an insurance issue, I would start with insurance companies.
Has this been requested of other projects?
The bond, not specifically, because
Okay.
the other organizations were just on the hook for the cost of the demolition out of their own funds.
Okay,
The bond was something that was offered to this group, knowing that you do not have the funds. Or you don't have a pile of money to tap into.
okay. All right, well, I'm only the treasurer of the board. So I do have to ask, but I am asking that if you're concerned about us completing this project, let's work together in 6-month increments and keep the conversation going, keep it moving, keep moving forward. Up until this last request, you guys had asked, and we've had a little bit of hiccup to get things, but we've gotten everything that you've asked us for up to this point. May we please work together?
So I think we have a motion to amend
We already we've actually amended the motion to allow her to speak. That was the amendment. So now we have to call the question.
Is that accurate?
You would have to, yes, on that. And also, I'm not clear, and I would have to get clarification on whether or not you can rescind the motion that you made at your prior meeting, which was your office, which was the 3 years and the bond.
That would not necessarily happen today because that is not on the agenda.
No,
That
it's
would be
not on the
something,
agenda.
that would be something
You
we
can
would have to
only
deal
deal
with
with what's on the agenda
We
today.
can only deal with the motion that is on the floor. We've had the amendment was to allow you to speak.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
We've done that, and now it is up to the RDA to either proceed forward
And award the demolition.
award the demolition contract, or not award the demolition contract, knowing that should we have to do it again, that the price will go up.
I'd like to rescind my second to the motion to award the demolition contract.
Is that allowed, or do you just have to vote
Can I
and
do that?
defeat it?
No, you just have to vote.
And this is one that requires unanimous, because there's only 3 of the 5 of us here. So, that being said, we need to call the question, and we'll give our votes. Do you want to do it alphabetically?
Just give you a roll call.
You can just do a roll call vote.
And this is the agenda, I'm sorry, the motion to award the demolition contract, we're now voting on, correct?
Correct.
So a no vote will mean there will be no demolition contract, at which point we would have to do another RFP if the subject comes up again.
Okay.
Peter Santel,
I'm going to say no at this time.
Renee, Davis?
No.
Rocco Del Prince?
Nope.
Motion
So we've effectively defeated the motion. We will put the offer on the table, or on the agenda, excuse me, for our next meeting, as well as addressing the previous vote.
May I suggest that you move that, because I'm not sure we have a quorum for,
For the next meeting.
we have enough for the May meeting, but there will not be everyone there.
Right, I won't be there.
Right, exactly. So I would suggest that,
You mean June?
that you bring it back to the July
Bring
meeting.
it back to the July meeting.
Okay.
And I only know this because you already made the statement that you would not.
I will not be there, I'll be at a conference.
Do I make a motion to adjourn?
I believe we are at that point.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.